Kandi's finally broken her silence on her divorce from Todd, and she says she's still struggling and going through it. And you know what? I know Mama Joyce is happy and probably saying I told you so. But let's actually talk about what happened in Kandi and Todd's divorce because, I don't know how to feel about this, all right? So Kandi obviously is very, very, very hurt about this, okay? She's super, super hurt. She said she's the one that filed for divorce, and when she's ready, she's going to talk about the divorce. Meanwhile, Todd is showing his freakum dress show, Don't Bring Your Man to Atlanta, even though I will say Todd and Kandi were always on a different type of time, right? But if they like it and it's consensual, ain't no dungeon, right? Then we love it, right? Like Meek's Light. But a lot of people are wondering what went wrong. And I do remember that there was a post that Kenya Moore had made in a video talking about a real man, right? Had made talking about a real man does it for free and hypes up his wife for free. And I was like, hold on. Okay, here we go. So Kenya jumped in and she said, it's a husband's job to support his wife however he can and vice versatility. That doesn't mean a payday. That's what support looks like. And Benchworthy said, I know that's right, Kenya, right? And this is in response to a video where Kandi said she doesn't think a man should want half the money in a divorce. See, listen, let me give you my take on what I think is going on with Kandi and Todd. And I say this is someone that doesn't know anything about anyone. I think that Kandi and Todd are a prime example of the way in new modern times gender roles are reversed. And it takes a special type of someone to go with those gender roles, which I think Todd and Kandi did a good job of, I guess, right? Like Kandi clearly was the breadwinner. She was the one with the money. Todd had vision. He's not a bum, but you get what I'm saying, right? And I feel like what happened was Kandi, let me just say it. Todd was basically like a kept man. And when I say kept man, I don't mean like, stay at home, laying, eating bonbons. Because most successful men, they're fine to keep you. They're fine to pay all your bills. But they want you to have a passion. Whether that's you open a yoga studio, whether that's you're like, oh my God, I love volunteering. I love saving. What they want you to have a passion because it makes you more interesting. Everybody else, like they want you to have a passion. It doesn't mean you got to slave. It means that they will help finance your dreams. And if you can help pour into their business, that's even better because everybody's growing, everybody's eating. And I think that's the role Kandi wanted for Todd. Let's not forget when Kandi met Todd, Todd was a producer. And, he was traveling here that, the way producers got to pitch ideas, get money, this and that. Kandi actually went out of her way to make sure that Todd stayed close to her. Some people said she might have been worried about him cheating. Other people said she was just in love and it don't matter. So he stopped chasing a bag and he started staying closer to home. They opened up their production company. Cool. It's a partnership. I don't know if it was 50-50, if it was 90-10. I don't know what it was, right? But that actually happened and it actually open. Okay. So here's the issue. Just let me cook, right? Let me cook. Todd is basically the kept woman of a rich man. And rich men don't just keep you to lay on your butt. That's a trophy wife. Kept women, they invest in you, but they want you to have your own passion. It's sexy to them. They don't understand people that just don't do anything. And if you do it, they just going to replace you. And Kandi, one of the reasons she liked Todd was he's a go-getter. So fine, the roles are reversed. But if Todd was arguing over money, if I look at it from a woman's point of view of I'm your wife and I put in all this effort into building up your money and your kingdom and your stuff, wouldn't I want, as a woman, 50% ownership? And I know that sounds crazy because y'all think I'm trying to call Todd a little BIT. I'm not. I'm just saying that this is what happens with role reversal. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what happens with role reversal. If Todd was the wife and Kandi was the husband and the wife had poured in, we would say that she deserves 50%. We would say, no, she invested so much. She helped you build. She helped you grow the Broadway. Now, here's the thing. We're from the outside looking in. Nobody knows exactly how much Todd actually contributed to Kandi getting on Broadway, Kandi doing this, Kandi doing it. Nobody knows. But it is interesting that now people are saying Todd doesn't deserve anything. And there are rumors that Kandi feels like Todd doesn't deserve anything. And I don't think that reflects the reality of what it appeared like that Todd invested into the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's unreasonable for someone to help you build a kingdom and not expect to have to give them anything, you know? And while they're keeping it civil now, and I know that there is a prenup, but I don't think there's a prenup for things they built together while they were in a relationship. And right now they're being civil, and I hope they can keep things being civil. But is Todd wrong for again, the whole thing about like a husband does stuff for his wife for free? Okay, but is it unreasonable if I helped you build something to expect something from it? And I'm not on Todd's side. I'm just saying that Kandi might have a fight on her hands in divorce court, because I can see how Todd is not going to let it go. And unless he gets a big settlement, he's not going to let it go easily. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are, you know, Todd's like, okay, thank you. You did enough for me. You know, maybe we're the ones in it and it's more of an emotional separation. But money wise, Todd's like, I already have my own. You take yours. The kids are cool between the two of us. We're fine. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know, because it's kind of like when Kandi invested in Todd and helped him grow, wasn't her name on everything? Didn't she take a percentage of everything? I mean, one thing we know about Kandi, love is love, but baby, when it comes to Kandi, money is money. Anyway, you guys, listen, let me know what you think in the comments. I will talk to you guys later, but I am really interested to know what you guys actually think about that. You know, it's heavy. It's heavy on my mind. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.